You're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show Live coming at you for Monday night, June 16th, 2014. It's your old pal right here, Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking us out this Monday night as we're talking Fallout from tonight's episode of WWE Raw. This episode is being sponsored in part by my good friends over at 01 Pro Wrestling. Hey, listen up. Do you have great dreams, aspirations of becoming a wrestler? Maybe a manager extraordinaire or a valet where you know you're going to need the proper tools and training to make that be possible, especially if you're looking to have a very lucrative and successful career in the wrestling industry. My good friends over at 01 Pro Wrestling can hook you up as they have a great training facility down in Orlando, Florida. All the information that you need, do yourself a favor, head on over to 01 Pro Wrestling's Facebook page at facebook.com/The Pro Wrestling School. And they can give you all the info you need so that you can begin your career into the wrestling industry today. Don't wait tomorrow. No more procrastinating. 01 Pro Wrestling. Hit them up on facebook.com/The Pro Wrestling School. And we do thank them in part for sponsoring tonight's episode of the RCWR Show Live. And hey, while you're also over there, give their page a like. Make sure you let them know Lee Sanders of the RCWR Show had sent you. They'll be sure to treat you good. All right, so we're talking about tonight's WWE Raw. You know the drill, folks. Those of you that join us every Monday night, you know how you can interact. Post those comments down below. If you enjoy our recap and review, make sure you go out of your way. Give this piece a thumbs up. Share this a number of ways. Facebook it, retweet it, Google+, one of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. All right, let's go on ahead and let's have at it. You know, overall, I would have to say, with regards to tonight's WWE Raw, going back a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how excited I was with the fact that Daniel Bryan is no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, as it's now open territory. Pretty much we can see anybody go into this Money in the Bank pay-per-view and become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But you know, as I was watching Raw during the course of this whole 3 hours, I just couldn't help but feel as though this episode was dragging on so many levels. I found myself literally challenging myself to stay awake, and I actually had got a nice little cat nap after I got in from work. I must have dozed off for like about maybe 90 minutes, and usually when I get home from work, 90 minutes is pretty good. I got a second burst of energy afterwards. I'm good for the rest of the night usually, you know. I have so much energy that I actually have to end up taking some melatonin to kind of naturally cool myself down so that I can naturally fall asleep at a decent hour. But I literally found myself challenging myself to stay awake during the course of this 3-hour episode. I just couldn't help but say to myself, man, we've got no Daniel Bryan. And then to make matters worse, we ended up not having the authority, you know, as it was really just kind of one of those type of nights where I just felt we were given a lot of half-ass stuff. That's just really the way I'm looking at it. That's how I'm calling it. Some of you all might think I'm being a little bit too critical of tonight's WWE product. Some of you may think I'm being a hater, and that may prompt you to go, dislike, dislike, dislike. But just hear me out. You know, it's okay if we disagree, but just hear me out. Try to appreciate the arguments that I'm going to be making here tonight. First off, I love the way Raw had opened up with all the male WWE superstars at the top of the ramp. You're wondering what's going on, as the Authority have some big news that they need to share with all the male wrestlers. They go in there, and, you know, as Stephanie McMahon and Triple H were making their way to the ring, I couldn't help but kind of ask myself this question, which is, I wonder if they're going to talk about the 11 releases that had came about last week. I was thinking to myself, that would be an awesome way for them to kind of kick off Raw, kind of basically rubbing it into the male roster's face that, hey, what happened to those 11 guys? It can happen to you as well. So shape up or ship out. You know, I thought maybe they were going to kind of go that route. But The more and more I thought about it, it was kind of like, nah, they're probably not going to go that route. Although it would have made a very interesting angle if they would have went that route. But instead, the authority had announced that one lucky person was going to get the opportunity to be the last participant in the main event match for Money in the Bank, as it's a main event match to crown a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And what better way to see who's going to be that final contestant for that match than by having a good old fashioned battle royale? That's right. All the WWE male superstars were going to be going at it in a battle royal, with the exception, per Triple H, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and John Cena. Now, interesting enough, we saw John Cena get some type of form of redemption, if that's what you want to call it. Basically saying the redemption had came in the form from Triple H and Stephanie McMahon as a match. John Cena taking on Kane in an ambulance stretcher match. And basically, Triple H put it out there. He said, look, John Cena, you go in, you get this match, you win, you get into that qualifying spot. You get in there. So we saw not one but two Money in the Bank spots up for grabs, with the last one basically being the match between John Cena and Kane. So you got a battle royal, and once again, John Cena taking on Kane. Stretcher match. I gotta make sure we stress that, because it sounds a little bit confusing, at least the way that they had kind of projected it early on, but we actually saw two Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Now, I couldn't help but kind of look at that scenario, and I just couldn't help but say to myself, oh man, don't tell me John Cena's going to get into this Money in the Bank match, because if he does get in there, that doesn't really look too good, especially for the anti-John Cena fans that don't want him anywhere near the WWE Championship. But given the circumstances of what's going on currently with Daniel Bryan and everything, I don't really think we have that much of a choice. Or do we? Do we, folks? Maybe WWE is trying to take us in for a very interesting ride. Who knows? But in either case, I just thought it was kind of interesting that Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns weren't given a opportunity, if you will. But I guess since the Shield was kind of going back and forth there with Evolution and everything, I guess it makes a little bit of sense, yeah, that Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns would not get the opportunity to get involved in this match. Now, we would see Roman Reigns in a backstage segment later on in the evening, and he tried to sweet talk Vicky Guerrero and seeing what she could do to get him in that Battle Royal match. Vicky said, hey, look, my hands are tied. There's really not much I could do for you, Roman Reigns. As Roman had suggested to Vicky that, hey, she needs to remember her last name, which is Guerrero. Name means a lot. She needs to stand her ground and basically stop acting like the authorities' puppet. And most importantly, if she finds herself in a position where maybe she will get fired, then she needs to go out in a blaze of glory. And Vicky Guerrero, she took what he said to heart, as she had to rush on to give Triple H and Stephanie their iced coffee, but she conveniently had forgot about their sugar and sweetener and cream and some other stuff. So we actually saw Vicky Guerrero disappear for a little bit. Roman Reigns, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know if he was maybe peeing in the iced coffee or what. He was putting something he had no business putting in to the iced coffee drinks. And we would see Vicky Guerrero give one to Stephanie McMahon. She just was enjoying the hell out of hers. Triple H did not have his, as he accidentally bumped into Vicky, splashed it all over her, demanded that she go and get him another drink. Meanwhile, Stephanie had continued to enjoy her tasty, refreshing beverage. Those of you that know your Pulp Fiction, you kind of know that line that I'm kind of throwing out there at you. Later on, we see Renee Young try to interview Stephanie to get her thoughts on this upcoming Battle Royal match. Looks like Stephanie might have had some type of diarrhea problems as she hauled ass during the interview. Later on, we would see Triple H trying to coach Stephanie as she was in the bathroom getting her puke on. Vicky would appear with another iced coffee for Triple H. Hunter wanted her to go into the laboratory to see if Stephanie was okay, and we had got us a very silly slapstick segment right here as we just saw not even Stephanie either. It was basically the restroom being opened up, so, as Triple H is holding the door open, and we just see like all this brown chunks of liquid just come flying out, spewing at Vicky Guerrero. I just couldn't help but say to myself, this is a really silly segment. I never thought we were going to see this during Stephanie and Triple H's reign as the Authority. I didn't think we were going to see this. I mean, the way that this segment just spelled it out for me, it just really came off like Vince McMahon needed a good laugh. I mean, I could just imagine him at the Raw rewrites leading into tonight's live episode. He probably was like, God damn it, I need a laugh. Let's see what we can do with Vicky Guerrero. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. Wrestling documentary reference right there for those of you that don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I thought this was a very stupid segment. I could have went without it. I really could have. That's all I have to say about that. Very silly segment right there. Let's see if we can talk about some action that had came about, because as you can kind of tell, for those of you that didn't watch Raw tonight, after the great opening that we had with the Authorities setting up the whole, hey, somebody's going to get an opportunity to win the Battle Royal, and hey, John Cena, you're going to have a match against Kane, which, by the way, I need to go back to that match for a minute. John Cena and Kane. So, wait a minute. The way the commentators had dubbed it, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, they basically said that this was the first time in Raw history that there was an ambulance match, or it was like the first time in years that there's been an ambulance stretcher match. I mean, either way, WWE, way to rewind it back to 2012's Extreme Rules, John Cena and Kane locking it up there. I mean, I enjoyed that match, but I mean, dude, we really have to do this for Kane and John Cena? Was there no other gimmick match available? Is this what we had to go with? And I guess WWE might have been saying to themselves, you know what? The fans aren't going to remember that these two guys had hooked up like 2 years ago in the same type of match, but on the pay-per-view. Let's just do it. It'll be okay. Let's have at it. Shame, WWE, shame. And I'm sure that there's probably going to be a ton of other people, now that I've brought that point up. Yeah, we did see this 2 years ago. The same type of match, pretty much. Yeah, we did pretty much. I'll talk about that main event match in just a little bit. What I want to do right now, I think it's time, for those of you that's going to be checking out the recording of this, I want to let you guys know that you're going to be seeing an ad break right about now. So just hang tight. A few seconds. Come on back. We'll continue to talk of tonight's fallout from WWE Raw. You, my good friends, are checking out the RCWR show. All right, and we are back. All right, so continuing on with tonight's fallout from WWE Raw. One of the first matches that we had saw was Dolph Ziggler take on Seth Rollins. I actually had enjoyed this match very well. You know, it just really kind of, as I was watching this match play, I couldn't help but say to myself, man, if Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins were like 5 years from now in a position where they were the go-to guys, they would be like the CM Punk and, I won't say The Rock, but maybe the CM Punk and Shawn Michaels of the WWE in about 5 years. All right? Top two guys in the company. Just the incredible matches that these two guys could have. The amount of fettuccinis that they could probably bring in together. Just working those house shows and all that. I think they would make a killing. That's what I was actually saying to myself as I was seeing this match come about. I just couldn't help but say, man, if WWE, whatever it is that's going on with them and Dolph Ziggler, He's had a couple of concussions. I don't know if maybe that might be the drawing factor in WWE trying to say whether or not maybe we can go with Dolph Ziggler. Then again, let's kind of stay away from him. I'm not really sure, but I tell you what, man, I love the booking that they did for this match because we did not get a winner from this match. Why? Because we saw Dean Ambrose make an appearance, and he just literally got in there, started pounding on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was just barely able to escape. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the referee had throughout the match as we had saw Seth Rollins retreat to the back. Dean Ambrose cutting a brief promo, begging for Seth Rollins to come on back so they can finish what they started. Triple H would appear on the Titantron, letting him know, hey, see, you got a fighting spirit going on? Well, that's good because you're going to need it right now. Got some bad news for you. Yes, we saw Dean Ambrose take on Wade Barrett. That was a great matchup right there as well. You know, we were talking about Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Wade Barrett. It's another one that was pretty good. You know, I was really feeling the attire that Dean Ambrose was pushing tonight because it kind of gave me shades of some CCW type of Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley. It kind of gave me a little bit of a vibe like that going on and everything. I was actually kind of feeling it. I was like, all right, that's what's up. Let's do it. Let's do it. Great matchup we saw right there. Seth Rollins, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he did play a little bit of interference in this matchup that would work in favor of Wade Barrett, as Wade Barrett would pick up the victory. Great strong outing that they had right there, though, with regards to the Barrett versus Ambrose match. As Wade Barrett, fans continue to love him. He's continuing to get that support. Got no problem with that. Bray Wyatt, he had cut a promo, and you guys know, because we didn't really talk about this past couple of weeks, you guys are aware that Jake the Snake Roberts has been assisting Bray Wyatt with his promos for the past several weeks. I don't know if you guys are maybe noticing a little bit of a difference in the way Bray Wyatt cuts his promos, but in either case, to get a hand from a WWE Hall of Famer, I think that's pretty freaking badass. I don't know about you guys. Bray Wyatt, though, cutting a promo basically saying, hey, look, I'm possibly going to be the man that's going to have the whole world in his hands come Money in the Bank. After all, he is involved in that main event match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Bray Wyatt telling the WWE Universe, you very well may be looking at him as your next WWE Champion. And you know what? The WWE Universe had no problem with that whatsoever, as they chanted along with him his little catchphrase song. Afterwards, we had saw Bray Wyatt. I think his promo had got interrupted by Sheamus, which was set up their respected match. Pretty solid matchup that we saw between those two guys. We saw Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. They did get involved in this, which would prompt the Usos to come out, and it was just all anarchy left and right. Great stuff right there. As it was announced that coming up at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so we know two matches as of tonight. One of them is going to be the Usos, Jimmy and Jey Uso, taking on the Wyatt family's Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Tag Team Championship match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Could it finally be time? Are we going to be looking at new Tag Team Champions? We'll talk about it a little bit more in about 2 weeks when we get ready to do our RCWR show, Call That Match edition, where I'll be offering match predictions for what you can expect to come out for that Money in the Bank pay-per-view. One more time, we got to show some love. Make sure we let you all know that this episode of the RCWR show is being sponsored by our good friends over at 01 Pro Wrestling. If you have a dream of becoming a pro wrestler, a manager, a valet, you're going to need some training. And 01 Pro Wrestling can hook you up with that training. Make sure you show them some love. Get in contact with them as soon as you get done with this piece by hitting them up on facebook.com/The Pro Wrestling School. They'll give you all the info that you need so that you can begin your successful journey, hopefully, and having a successful career in the wrestling industry. And while you're there, make sure you give their page a like. Let them know Lee Sanders of the RCWR show had sent you. You know, we had saw a couple of Divas matches tonight. I want to kind of burn through those real quickly here. We saw Paige defeat Cameron. And, you know, for me personally, and I guess this is really kind of kicking in after interviewing Brodus Clay. And for those of you that's like, what? Yeah, we had actually interviewed Brodus Clay right before the weekend. And if you haven't checked that out, please do so. Really great interviews. Actually up on our YouTube channel right now. And we talked for like about an hour, some really solid stuff. And nothing but good things has been happening for Brodus Clay since he parted ways with the WWE, or since he was released from the WWE. I know one of those things is our good friends over at Kayfabe Commentaries. They had signed a deal with him where he's going to be participating in the next You Shoot series. And if you have any questions that you'd like to send to Brodus Clay, or as they're dubbing this You Shoot edition, You Shoot with Funky Dinosaur, I'm sure you can respect and understand the reason why that they're going with that name and everything. You can actually hit them up with a 60-second or less video question. For all the information, go to kayfabecommentaries.com. One more time, kayfabecommentaries.com. All right. And while you're there, it gives you an opportunity to check out some of their cool merchandise. But I bring up Brodus Clay because when Cameron came out along with Naomi, I couldn't help but kind of feel a little melancholy because I'm hearing the music and I'm like, that Brodus Clay, you know? And I don't care what anybody says, but I was watching his work in NXT, and it just really seemed like he was really starting to come into his own. And as you'll find out, if you haven't checked out the interview that we had with him already, you know, he actually had talked about his return to the NXT brand as a very refreshing and welcoming opportunity, you know. So check it out when you guys get a chance. But we saw Paige. They did a little bit of a switch up as far as Paige's in-ring psychology goes, because the past several weeks it just kind of seems like the running gag is we see Paige get her ass kicked for a majority of the match, then she does like about 1 to 3 moves, and then she wins. She no-sells the hell out of the beatings that she took in her matches. This go round, we kind of found Paige to be more on the offense, to be more aggressive. Kind of seemed like she was trying to channel in there more energy, if you will, and all that. And I kind of like that. It seems like, I don't know, maybe the powers that be kind of realized that Paige has been pretty one-dimensional the past several weeks, and they're trying to work with her on honing her craft and everything. Not saying that she's a bad wrestler. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any type of way and say that she's bad or anything. It's just that, you know, hey, she's going to get where she needs to be in all due time. But I just couldn't help but notice of her in-ring work tonight compared to what we've been seeing since she's come up the main WWE roster. It does kind of seem like there has been some moderate improvements in certain areas, and I'm all fine for that. We also saw a intergender tag team match, as we saw the team of Adam Rose with Summer Rae pick up a victory over Fandango and Layla. Got me on my knees, Layla. Kevin Hart. Why do you guys like Kevin Hart? I guess the same question could be thrown back at me, and some smartass can say, well, why do people like you, Lee? And I could probably just be like, touche, you smart son of a bitch. Touche. But no, seriously, I don't think Kevin Hart is funny. I'm probably going to get a ton of dislikes for that, especially from my fellow black people. You're probably going to be like, what? You don't think Kevin Hart is funny? Are you black? Last I checked, I am. I don't think he's funny. I really don't think he's funny. I can't stand the guy. I just wanna punch him in the face so bad. I don't think he's funny whatsoever. I really don't. You know who's funny to me? Richard Pryor, the late George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, Charlie Murphy. See, before fame really got to him and all that, Tracy Morgan was actually a funny dude. Who else? Before he started having his whole, I don't know, bipolar moment, I thought Cat Williams was pretty funny. What other black comedians out there? Um, this is a very, very short list. Like, especially like if you're thinking of that whole raunchy type of comedy, you know? Um, that's my list right there. Oh, there's one, Paul Mooney, funny as hell. He's recently been catching a lot of heat for some of the shows that he's been doing. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much my list of like black comedians that I really mess with. Kevin Hart, I'm sorry, but every time I see him, I never laugh. And it's so funny too because me and my girlfriend can be kicking back late at night watching some stuff and she loves Kevin Hart. Loves Kevin Hart so much she was upset that she didn't get to see his little two silly little segments tonight on Raw. And I'm like, you didn't miss anything. He was talking in a backstage segment, which was a waste of 5 minutes because that 5 minutes should have been going out to the WWE ring and interacting with the WWE universe. And hell, maybe there could have been an exclusive. And maybe this happened. So if it did happen, I'm just saying, that's good if it did happen. But if it did not happen, that sucks. But for me, I got Kevin Hart showing up at my WWE Raw event. I wouldn't have had him in a backstage segment, a lame ass backstage segment at that. I would have had him out there in the middle of the ring. I would have had him doing a little bit of improv comedy or whatever. Maybe take folks into commercial breaks, say some raunchier stuff, maybe through the WWE app and all that. And then you come on back, Kevin Hart, he joins Michael Cole and the gang at ringside for commentary, as eventually we did see Kevin Hart come out and he was doing his commentating. There was some things that kind of made me have a little bit of a chuckle, like when Fandango and Layla came out and Kevin Hart is like, wait a minute, I thought this was WWE Raw. What is this, Dancing with the Stars? What's going on here? I thought that was kind of a nice little fun spot right there. And I don't know who it was that pointed it out on Twitter, but somebody said, Kevin Hart, wow, talk about a man's man, all 5 foot of him. And I'm like, leave the guy alone. So he's short. So what? That doesn't mean anything, you know? But I just was so happy when Kevin Hart was done. And if you guys are going to ask me what movie am I going to see this weekend, I sure as hell am not going to see Think Like a Man 2. I don't need to see a movie to think like a man because I'm a man and I already know how to think. So I don't know. I'm done talking about Kevin Hart, but if you guys don't appreciate me bashing Kevin Hart, I know there's my audience out there. I know I'm gonna piss some people off, but I know there's that audience, and I'm reaching out to you right now. Just put your hand out there, feel the power, man. We're one right now, and in our unison, in our energy of we don't like Kevin Hart, you know. But seriously, WWE, can we get like some real celebrities that like actually have a connection and great appreciation for what you guys do in the ring? I mean, I didn't think it was going to get any better than Hugh Jackman. I've heard nothing but good things about Hugh Jackman. Same thing for Drew Carey. Everybody loved Bob Barker. I mean, hell, can we get Bob Barker back? I mean, hell, we had the Muffets twice now. I mean, if we're going to be doing a round trip tour and see if you guys can get, you know, previous guests back, well, you know, let's do a second tour and let's see if we can get some of these guys to pop up. Hey, WWE, here's an idea. August 1st is going to be coming up real soon. If you want to make peace with Big Dave Batista, why not start having some of the cast for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy show up? You know, you could do like 1 star, maybe like every 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, and you can have the final one be Big Dave Batista, right? He could show up on the final Raw a week before his movie. I think that would be pretty awesome. Not to mention that would set up some unresolved storylines that maybe could be squashed while he makes that cameo appearance. Some wishful thinking right there. I mean, after all, when it comes to Hollywood, Marvel is the bomb. I mean, if you're a Hollywood actor, Marvel calls you, your ass better drop what you doing and pick up the phone. Just an idea. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you think I'm on to something? Like, would that be more viable for you? Like, if you saw the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy work something out with Marvel and WWE where they would pop up every couple of weeks to hype up this movie, or would that maybe just be a little bit of overkill for you? I mean, let me know, sound off on that. But I think I'm on to something. I mean, if they do it right, I don't really think it would be overkill. I mean, especially if they do it in a way where they let a few weeks go by and then they bring another star, I think it would be freaking badass, man. Rusev. Alexander Rusev, blah, 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 Rusev. Or, as I like to say in Espanol, Alexander Rusev, caca, miada. No, seriously, Alexander Rusev. Oh, man. Where do I even begin with this one? Let's just fast forward through the crap. All right, Alexander Rusev, he comes out with Lana. Blah, 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 yakety spackety. Getting ready to have a match with Heath Slater, in which, by the way, Heath Slater is the one-man band. I like how JBL kind of alluded to that, too, during his commentating. He said, yeah, Heath Slater, flying solo again, or something like that. And we saw Heath Slater cut a really good promo saying, hey, man, you guys are always talking about Russia. If you like it that much, won't you go back to it? And he actually got a nice pop from the WWE Universe as they pretty much had their match. Heath Slater, no match for Alexander Rusev. Another squash match. Go figure. Am I the only one that's tired of Alexander Rusev? That's why I'm just kind of like, the mood's changed a little bit for me. I'm just like, I will say this much. I was very pleased with what happened to Alexander Rusev towards the end of the night, in particular in the Battle Royal match. Let's go ahead and let's jump to that Battle Royal match as the final person, or at least the final two people, I believe it was, that had went at it in this Battle Royal match. It would be Roman Reigns and Alexander Rusev. And man, I was so freaking happy when Roman Reigns just did that lock and loaded Superman punch to send Alexander Rusev flying outside of the ring to win the Battle Royal. Oh, I'm hoping that sets up like a window where maybe we can see Alexander Rusev try to extract some type of revenge and try to take it to Roman Reigns, and then we can finally see this undefeated streak that he has finally get taken off the table and all that, because I think WWE, if they really wanted to, I think they got something golden right there, unless they're looking for the pure, that's good American pie type of boy in John Cena, then there's their other option. But I think Roman Reigns would be another nice option as well. I actually would prefer it if they went with Roman Reigns and Alexander Rusev. What do you guys think about that? Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Oh, Goldust. He had a new partner introduced tonight. It was his younger brother, Cody Rhodes, dressed as this new character called Stardust. Why this was trending, I have no clue. Shows you how the times have changed. I think for the purest, truest fan of the Rhodes family, the guys like myself that grew up on Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and I'm not talking about with the yellow polka dots, baby. I'm talking about classic vintage Dusty Rhodes that was feuding with Harley Race, Ric Flair, all that good stuff. Okay? That type of Dusty Rhodes to Goldust, and not this Goldust that we have floating around right now. I mean the crazy and the abstract, is he homosexual type of Goldust, right? And then we got Cody Rhodes. We were first introduced to. Okay, let me see if I can, because my mind's. It's been a while since I've done this, so let's see if I can actually recall all the gimmicks we've seen Cody Rhodes in, because there's a very valid point that I'm making here, and if you can't feel where I'm coming from just yet, just marinate on what I'm getting ready to say to you guys. All right. So the first incarnation of Cody Rhodes, right? Whoa, you're only smoking mirrors. Whoa, okay, and I think like right around that period, it was like dashing Cody Rhodes, right? Pretty boy Cody Rhodes. He was giving you lessons on how to really look like a man. Put trim your nose hairs, all that other silly crap, right? So we saw that version. Then we saw the version where his face got messed up, and so he started wearing a plastic shield for a bit. I actually had liked that version of Cody Rhodes too. There was also a paper bag version of Cody Rhodes in the process of that whole prosthetic mask or whatever. Then after that, we went to seeing the Cody Rhodes that would team up with Damian Sandow, right? Then we got the Cody Rhodes that was really taking it to the Authority, right? Remember, Cody Rhodes got fired and all that, and it was like, bring back Cody, bring back Cody. Really seemed like when he had won, or he was about to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but instead it went to his partner, Damian Sandow. That kind of like seemed to just catapult him to the next level. And I don't know, I guess WWE really wasn't prepared for that, so they, like, in my opinion, slowed the brakes tremendously on that. Now we have Stardust, kind of paying homage to Goldust, but you know, Goldust was the least on my mind. I mean, I gotta be brutally honest with you guys. For some reason, as I was seeing this character, it made me think of Starman from that NES Pro Wrestling video game. Like all of a sudden, I just wanted to play it. you know, Cody Rhodes, Identity Crisis, no doubt. I'm not really sure what WWE is doing right here. I really do not think that he needs this gimmick. I really don't. I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to give it the benefit of doubt. I'm going to kick back and I'm going to wait a couple of weeks, see where this goes, and I'll go in depth more on it then. But just off the break, watching the career of Cody Rhodes, and oh my God, how can I like almost forget? There was also Cody Rhodes that was in Legacy. Let's not also forget that. So, you know, Legacy with Ted DiBiase Jr. and Randy Orton. So, I mean, all the various versions of Cody Rhodes we've seen over the years. Can we please freaking just stick to one gimmick for Cody Rhodes and just let him ride that SOB right on out? I personally don't think he needs the Stardust character. I don't think it's needed. Post your comments. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I just thought that was so wow. You know, I can't believe it was trending. I wonder if it was trending for the right reasons, like WTF. Because if it was trending like, oh, this is cool, this is, ooh, that's all I got to say about that. Main event match, stretcher match, John Cena, Kane. Let me be for real. Weak match. Weak. It was weak. I did not enjoy this match one little bit. I mean, for me, their 2012 match at Extreme Rules was better than the crap that they had gave us tonight. I mean, and did anybody hear the Kane and John Cena audibles throughout the match? I mean, that was freaking hilarious. Like, especially when Kane was picking up John Cena, or it was vice versa. You could hear John Cena clear as day. Oh, pick me up. You know, I'm like, really, man? Let's do this. I want to take one more commercial break. So for those of you that's checking out the recording of this, you're going to be seeing one more ad break. We'll come right back. We'll wrap up our talk of tonight's WWE Raw Fallout and include some great live fan reactions, as I definitely want to get the chance to see what you all had to say about tonight's episode of WWE Raw. So stick around. You're checking out the RCWR show. And we are back. All right, so yeah, the ambulance match, very weak. I like how they put Randy Orton in there, and this is the whole thing that really rubbed me the wrong way. Okay, so it's an ambulance match. Kane is this big red monster who's done all this crap to Daniel Bryan over the past several weeks, right? Yet John Cena is the one that's able to defeat him. But wait, it wasn't like, oh, John Cena defeats Kane. All right. No. It took interference from Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. I believe there was a cameo by Roman Reigns. I can't really recall right now. I'm leaning more towards, I know definitely Seth Rollins and Randy Orton were in there, and their whole agenda looks like they were trying to screw the hell out of John Cena, make sure he didn't advance in that match. But it took like this whole supporting cast basically just to get John Cena over and make him look like he went through such great adversity, as he is the last guy to qualify for a spot in that Money in the Bank match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. I really hope he doesn't win that championship. I'm not an anti-John Cena fan, but at the same time, you got a really, really great ensemble that's involved in that match. This is how it's looking right now. Alberto Del Rio versus Randy Orton versus Sheamus versus Cesaro versus Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns versus John Cena. I mean, it's just looking really good right there. Some of you may be wondering, where was the Authority? Well, apparently, due to Stephanie being sick and all that, Triple H took her home or whatever, saying that Vicky Guerrero was in charge and, hey, make sure that the right person wins the Battle Royal was pretty much their message or whatever. So I can only imagine what's going to be happening next week when the Authority tries to deal with Roman Reigns winning the Battle Royal and then John Cena winning his respected match against Kane. Honestly, I could have went without Kane. I mean, seriously, they should have just gone on ahead. They should have saved Kane for Daniel Bryan whenever he comes back. Let Kane continue his rampage of destroying folks randomly on the WWE roster. I mean, what are you going to do now? Are you going to revisit this feud with Kane? Because if you are, then how are you going to build that mojo back up for Kane? That's just my whole argument. I just think it was silly what they had did with Kane. It would have made a little bit more sense and viable if Kane had been taking on some very worthy opponents on main WWE programming series of weeks, but he's only been used sparingly here and there, as WWE Creative kind of came off as if they really weren't sure how to utilize him. So it's just basically, well, let's feed him to John Cena. We need him to look strong going into his Money in the Bank ladder match anyway with these guys. And that is going to do it. Overall, like I said, I was fighting sleep. That was my number one enemy. I fought hard to stay awake for this 3-hour episode. If you were to really ask me straight up, Lee, was there anything that really remotely got you excited, anything that you really enjoyed, because you really just came off like a bahamba tonight reviewing WWE Raw? Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. I thought that was a great match. Wade Barrett taking on Dean Ambrose. I thought that was a pretty good match for what it was worth. Honorable mention, Paige and Cameron, even though Paige was doing most of the work. That's pretty much it, man. It was a really lackluster Raw. It also, in hindsight, I can't help but kind of say to myself, how is Raw going to be next week when it comes to Washington, D.C. at the Verizon Center? Because this guy is actually going to be there And my, how the landscape has changed dramatically. You know, a couple of months ago, I was very excited to be going to this event because the last time I went to Raw, it was the final Raw before WrestleMania. And I'm like, awesome. You know, I was there and they were like, okay, next time we're coming back to the Verizon Center is going to be on. And I was like, oh, well, I got to get my ticket. When I get home, I went on Ticketmaster, got my ticket. And I just relished in the fact that, all right, the next time I go to the Verizon Center, I'm going to see Daniel Bryan as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going to get an opportunity to see the Shield. I'm going to get a chance to see the Wyatt family again. Oh, this is going to be awesome. But the way the current WWE product is looking right now, it's just, I never thought I'd say this, but, you know, can Daniel Bryan come back any sooner? Because I'd like to see his whole thing with Stephanie and the Authority resume. I mean, we need some really key storylines, because if your main storyline to me for Raw, at least this week, now that we got Daniel Bryan out the picture, if your main hook, line, sinker for me right now to try to make me want to check out the WWE Network and check out Money in the Bank is, well, it could be any one of those 6-7 guys in the main event match that could be the next WWE champion. Is that all you got? That's my question, because it's like, what else do you have that can entice me? Because so far, what I'm seeing on main WWE programming isn't quite enough. I'm not quite sold on Money in the Bank yet, you know? I feel for WWE right now. I mean, I know they're in a really rough spot right now. They don't have a Daniel Bryan. They don't have a CM Puke, paying a little bit of homage to that puking segment we saw there. Very interesting right there. Let's get to you guys' comments and let's see what you all have to say about tonight's WWE Raw. One more time, if you're enjoying our recap and review, please go out of your way and make sure that not only you leave those comments down below, but you give this piece a thumbs up and share this. You can do it a number of ways: Google Plus it, Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. And as I'm pulling up you guys' comments here, I want to give you guys a quick heads up that we will be doing our radio version of the RCWR show this Tuesday night, June 17th at 10 p.m. Eastern, only at Blog Talk Radio. So make sure you join us for that. And also, quick programming note, there will not be a Thursday live edition of Impact Showdown. I repeat, there will not be a Thursday live edition of Impact Showdown because this guy is going to be going to the DC Improv to see Mick Foley do his one-man comedy tour. So originally this was the first show, but it looks like probably about a couple of weeks ago they were able to work out a deal where they got Mick Foley to do a second show there at Improv, which is going to be tomorrow. So I'm really hoping that the magic is still going to be there for Mick Foley when he does the Thursday show, since, you know, I'm going to be there, and that was actually the first show, you know. Apparently there's also going to be a meet and greet as well, so I'm hoping that I'll get the fortunate opportunity to meet and chat with Mick Foley, take a picture. Don't worry, I'm actually going to have a review of that whole event coming about later this week. But let's see what you guys have to say right here on YouTube. Reggie: would have been hilarious if Cody Rhodes came out as Angel Dust. Curtis Axel getting a little pop tonight. How about that? Yeah, by the way, I got so sidetracked with my ramblings of Goldust and Cody Rhodes. Yeah, the new Stardust Goldust team, they defeated Ryback, so it will be blah, blah, blah. Damian Sandow being eliminated first, no surprise there. Hell yeah, because he was dressed like LeBron James. I thought that was a nice little spoof that WWE did right there on Damian Sandow. Speaking of which, the Spurs, man, they really beat that ass on the Miami Heat, didn't they? I was pulling for the Heat, man. I mean, they got crushed. Now, see, look, Miami, y'all need to be careful, because LeBron's one of those type of people. He'll be like, this is unacceptable. I need to go play for another team. This is too much. That's LeBron for you. I'm really hoping that he's going to be able to muster up this ass whooping that he took and just be like, all right, next year we got him. I really hope that he does that because otherwise he's going to seem like a prima donna, always switching up on the teams and all that. I heard that Sandow was being put in these ridiculous segments in his jobbing because he lashed out at Ric Flair backstage. Have you heard about this as well? No? No? I wouldn't believe that until you see very respected wrestling sites such as Wrestling Inc., PW Insider, unless they're able to get some concrete stuff. I actually would not be buying into that right now. Lee, it's actually Tuesday morning, 4:13 a.m. just now. UK time, I mean. Well, Lee, coming from Lee, sounds like that Megadeth song. Hello, me. Meet the real me. Sweating bullets. Good morning to you. Thank you for staying up with us, man. Really appreciate that. Much love. Brian, hey Lee, do you think Cody versus Goldust is still going to happen? I don't know. I thought it was going to happen as early as WrestleMania, man. I don't know, man. Chris Rock. That's another one I forgot. Chris Rock is a funny mother lover. I love Chris Rock. Blake was happy about Roman Reigns getting the Money in the Bank match. I am sure that Cody Rhodes is Stardust. Sean, what's up, man? Raw was boring. First time I thought in years. Another surprise. Main event to me was like a filler. It was boring and so predictable. Yeah, especially that lame-ass spot at the end with John Cena doing the double A to Kane and just conveniently pushes his ass on the stretcher. It's like the double AA basically sends Kane flying over that yellow tape line for Cena to win the match. Woohoo! Wolverine. John Cena spilled another diet soda as well as the diet sodas of all the fans. Even though Cena doesn't need another title reign, if he does win the ladder match, it's not the end of the world as long as it's more than a few months and loses it to someone who deserves it, like Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt or Cesaro. I can respect that argument. Jamie, wow! Raw was really good tonight. I loved pretty much all the matches tonight. I love the opening match between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Those two have great chemistry. I wish it ended in a pinfall or submission. My only problem with that match is that I wish WWE would stop keeping Ziggler on the jobber list. All in all, I would give Raw an 8 out of 10. If they took out the silly segments, Raw would have gotten a higher score from me. I hope Bray Wyatt wins the title, as it could keep the feud that Daniel Bryan was having with Bray Wyatt. At least that's how I would book it. Interesting. Thomas, solid Raw in my mind. You know, I'm tough on WWE product overall, but tonight I was entertained. My thoughts: if John Cena wins Money in the Bank and becomes the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion at the pay-per-view, I officially give up. I will be the biggest Cena fan in the world. I will even go and write a series of his rise to greatness in my blog. If that happens, the WWE will have done it. They will have broken me. Just my thoughts. How about you, Lee? Honestly, I think WWE, with the current talent that they have on main WWE programming, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, especially with the talent that is involved in this Money in the Bank ladder match for the vacant title. I feel in my heart of hearts they're in a position right now. They don't need to go back to John Cena. It is really time for WWE to continue this trend that they've been doing since, like, my God, like last year or maybe the year before, we're bringing up younger people from the roster. They need to just continue the trend and let loose. Don't go with what would be comfortable. Make the move. You know what I'm saying? It's summertime anyway. A lot of people are going to be going out on vacations and all that good stuff. It's really a good time for WWE to experiment right now and see what they can do with a new WWE champion that isn't Randy Orton and that isn't John Cena. Worst case scenario, if things don't pan out the way they would like it to come SummerSlam, then they could do what needs to be done to maybe go back to what's safe and maybe consider a Randy Orton, John Cena, or hell, maybe even go back to Daniel Bryan. That's how I feel about that. Max Man. Max Man would talk about Cody Rhodes as Stardust. I just love that. That's perfect irony right there. Max Man, I'm not picking it. I just think that's very cool irony right there. Like, your name is Max Man, and you're talking about Cody Rhodes dressed as Stardust. Basically one disguise for another. I think that's badass. Cody Rhodes as Stardust, I must say, it wasn't a terrible look for him. Dolph hasn't gotten pushed is because Triple H and Cena have a hand in who gets pushed, and concussions probably play a small part, and it's sad because he gets popped from the crowd. I agree. Glad Reigns got in the ladder match. I'm starting to become a big fan of Reigns. If Cena wins the title, I'm going on record. I will never watch the WWE again. How he won tonight was crap. He gets RKO'd and he pops up like nothing happens, and when it was crap. I'm not anti-Cena. I'm just sick of him getting chance. I read that right. I'm not an anti-Cena fan. I'm just sick of him getting chance. Put the title on a guy you're trying to put over. That's my point. Tonight's show, it was good, but some spots were crap for me. I give it a 7. Nothing wrong with that. Let's read 2 more from you guys. Cyrus, you're new. I like new comments here. I think it's safe to say most of the internet wrestling community wants Bray, Cesaro, or Reigns to win the title at Money in the Bank. Do you feel any of them are ready for a World Heavyweight Championship reign? That's a very good question. But to save on not going into that much more overtime, we're going to talk about that on our radio show Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, over on Blog Talk Radio. You'll enjoy it. We go all over the place on there anyway. Love the show, Lee. Raw, RCWR show is my perfect Monday night. Cyrus, thank you for that comment, man. Appreciate that. Let's end it on a good note. Mr. Big Daddy, the bad guy. I laughed when Cody came out there dressed as Goldust. I guess Dean Ambrose is not part of the Shield anymore. Roman Reigns is in the Money in the Bank match. Cena is the last one to be added to the match, no surprise. I was hoping WWE would have done more with Kevin Hart's guest appearance. Bray Wyatt killed it on the mic again. Overall, a good show. If I did not get to your comments, have no fear, my babies. I will definitely reply to you guys as soon as we are done with this. But in the meantime, I do thank you guys for all your comments. Good stuff right there. So one more time, quick programming note, we got the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show. You can catch that at 10 p.m. Eastern over on Blog Talk Radio. Join us. We're going to be going all over the place. We'll definitely go more in depth on the guys that are going to be involved in this Money in the Bank ladder match and really kind of tackle the question on who needs to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We'll tackle that. Also look you guys up at the very latest in entertainment headlines and beyond. And once again, quick programming note for you TNA wrestling fans, there will not be a new Impact Showdown, as once again I'll be going to DC Improv this Thursday to see Mick Foley bring his comedy tour to the DC area. We'll have a review for that later in the week. Last night I owed you guys a DVD review from Kayfabe Commentary's guest booker with Bruce Pritchard screwing Bret Hart. Audio's complete. I just have to remix it, and it's about 17 minutes long, so it's going to be very easy for me to upload on YouTube. I will have that be uploaded on our channel tonight, so if you're feeling a little late night owlish, I'm definitely wide awake. I have plenty of energy in me right now. It's a little bit after midnight here at my end. I would say give me about I'd say give me about an hour. I'll definitely have it be on our YouTube channel for you guys to check out. Great stuff. You guys need to check it out when you get a chance. And one more time, if you haven't checked out our Brodus Clay interview, that's on YouTube. Check it out right now. Great stuff. Kicked it with Brodus Clay for an hour, and I love how now we got all the other shows. I mean, I set the bar kind of high, so I'm very curious to read little highlights of transcripts from how other people are able to handle their interview with Brodus. I will say this much: the way I set it up, I didn't have too much fun because I tried to keep other people in mind that were going to be getting a chance to interview him. So I actually left a door or two open for people to kind of follow on in there and do their own unique spin. So it's going to be fun to kick back and see how people approach interviewing Brodus. But we set it up first with the first show to chat with him after he was released from WWE. So check that out when you guys get a chance. If you haven't done so already, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so that you never miss out on all the great content we do for you guys here on a weekly basis, whether it comes to breaking news, doing great reviews, or having great laid-back interviews. We do a little bit of everything here on our channel. We got links in the episode description here below on how you can check out our show on various other platforms and how you can get a hold of some cool RCWR show merchandise. So have at it, have fun. A very good night, good morning to you all till I see and hear from you guys Tuesday night, handful of hours, 10 p.m. Eastern over at Blog Talk. Be safe and be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next go around. Everybody, do take care.